As the 2021-22 Premier League season reaches its traditional Christmas halfway point, the title race has been slimmed down to three realistic contenders. Although they look unlikely to run away with the league as they did last season, Manchester City remain the hot favourites ahead of chasers Liverpool and Chelsea. Pep Guardiola's men are firing on all cylinders, and just 2 days ago, the citizens thrashed Leicester City 6-3 at home. In this special, we will discuss about the favourites, underdogs and outsiders to be crowned Premier League champions come the end of the campaign. Hello and welcome to News 9. I am Atishay Jain and joining me is News 9 football data analyst Hardik Agarwal. So Hardik, before we dive into this discussion, it is very important for us to explain it to the viewers on what parameters we have selected this News 9 Premier League power rankings. So I'll give the floor to you. Why don't you go and explain the 7 parameters on which we have ranked the football clubs?
Thank you, Atishay. So we have basically assessed the attacking strength of the team, the defensive prowess of the team and the team cohesion of all the Premier League teams. To assess the attacking capabilities, we have taken into considerations parameters like shots on target per match, big chances created and the goals that teams have scored per match. We have taken out the average of that. And to assess the defensive prowess of all the teams, we have taken into consideration clean sheets, goals conceded per match and parameters like these. And to evaluate the team cohesion and efficiency, we have taken into consideration passing efficiency of all the teams, and we have also had a look at their pressing, how well they press at the attacking third. Basically, how many times did they win possession in the final third. So this is how we have given them points, and whichever team has the maximum points get the top position in the table, and the teams who are unable to yield sufficient points, they are in the bottom half of the table.
Well, that sounds fantastic, Hardik. So let's just dive into the discussion right now. And what better team to start with than Manchester City, who are absolutely playing sublime and beautiful football right now. They are sitting atop of the Premier League standings, and by the looks of it, they are the prime contenders to go and win their consecutive Premier League title. So now talking about Pep Guardiola's side, how good they have been, because they have been playing flawless football right from when the season started. The players they have at their disposal are all world class, and Pep's tactics seem to be working supremely.
Yeah, no doubt about that, Atishay. The Spanish manager has completely transformed this side. They're performing so well in terms of attack. They're taking 7.3 shots on target per match, creating 48 chances per match, only conceding 0.6 goals per 90. That's an exceptional stat, I must say. And on top of that, their passing efficiency is also remarkable. They are at the top of the league as they make 618 accurate passes every match. So you can imagine the cohesion that they have among themselves. Then despite the absence of striker this season, Pep Guardiola has done some amazing work with players like Gabriel Jesus, Riyad Mahrez, Sterling and Bernardo Silva. All these players are at least involved in 8 goals. So it is coming out superbly for them. At the defense, Ruben Dias is exceptional. At the back, he is scoring goals on corners and set pieces. And the wing back play from Cancelo and Walker, it's remarkable as well. Cancelo is delivering some exceptional crosses into the box and he gets into the dangerous positions. It's just a joy to watch Manchester City, isn't it?
Well, definitely for me, the 2 standout players for Manchester City this season have to be the 2 Portuguese, João Cancelo and Bernardo Silva. The way they have, by moving forward, especially Cancelo has been so precise in delivering those delicious passes into the box, and the forward line has just pounced on it. So definitely Manchester City is the prime contender moving forward. Now moving into our second team, Liverpool, Jurgen Klopp's side. The Reds are looking to win their second title under Klopp, and they started well. They seem to have fallen off tracks a bit. Now moving forward, their 2 key players are going to miss out a few games as they will be going and playing in the African Cup. But the way Mohamed Salah is playing right now, probably he is the hottest player in football right now. The kind of season he has had is simply scintillating. So do you see Liverpool catching up with Manchester City as the season progresses?
Atishay, it's quite doubtful there. I can't deny that they are the best attacking side in the league. They have created 53 big chances so far this season, and they are scoring 2.6 goals per 90, which is stunning. Like, scoring 2.5 or 6 goals per match, it shows the attacking strength of the team. And they are not as bad at defense. They have kept 10 clean sheets and they are just behind Citizens. So defense is the only segment which makes them behind City. Otherwise, they are better than City in terms of attack. And we can't deny that Alexander-Arnold Trent and Robertson play a significant role in their attacking gameplay. Both the wing backs come up front and deliver some excellent crosses into the box. And as you said, that Salah has been phenomenal this season. He has scored 15 goals and delivered 9 assists for the rest this season.
Phenomenal numbers.
Yeah, and we have seen him dribbling past many defenders. Even if you remember the City game, how he dribbled past the Ruben Diaz and Laporte inside the box and then scored through exceptional finishing. So we can't deny that Salah is in absolutely excellent form. But the loss of Salah and Mane in the January month because of the African Cup could be a loss for Jurgen Klopp, because they both play a crucial role in the team. Salah has been involved in 24 goals. Mane has scored 7 goals. So certainly it could be a problem for them, and that's why it will be hard for them to catch up with City. But I believe that Klopp has the squad depth to compensate for both the wingers, and he will certainly find a way, but it will be tough for them.
Well, definitely we all will have our eyes on Liverpool. Now, what about Chelsea? They entered this season Premier League after winning the Champions League. They started extremely well, but now they seem to have run out of steam. So, what do you think has gone wrong with the Tuchel side?
Atishay, Chelsea started the season on a high. They were so good defensively. They just conceded 3 goals in their first 12 matches, and now they have conceded 9 goals in their last 7 matches. So the reason behind this is due to the absence of their key players in the defensive roles or in the midfield due to COVID or injury concerns. And certainly Thiago Silva, Antonio Rudiger, their keeper Edward Mendy and Azpilicueta, they play a very significant role at the back. They make good clearances, performs good blocks, and they even block the crosses, and even in 1v1 situations they are just marvelous. So we can't deny that they are good defensively. They just missed out on a few players in the last few matches. They have been creating chances. 21 of their outfield players have scored in the season so far. They had a problem at attack when Tuchel arrived last season, but he has changed that completely. Despite signing Lukaku for 100 million, now 21 of their players have scored, which means that Tuchel has made them a powerful side. He inspires all the players to take shots and take shots from dangerous positions. So yeah, I think that Chelsea has the capacity to go high up the table if they be more consistent and more defensively stable.
Well, definitely, Hardik, it's just a matter of time before Chelsea get their act together back again. So now moving on to our fourth team, which is Arsenal. Well, it has been one hell of a ride for Mikel Arteta this season. Having started the season with 3 back-to-back losses, he has made the Gunners a prominent, at least home team once again. The Emirates Stadium seemed to have become fortress for the Gunners yet again. So, how do you see the transformation which we have witnessed over the last 15-16 games with Arsenal?
At the start of the season, they were struggling because their team was not set. After their 3 back-to-back losses at the start of the season, the team is quite set since then. They even produced a 8-match unbeaten streak in which they performed stunningly, and some of their young guns like Bukayo Saka, Martinelli, Emily Smith Rowe, Martin Odegaard, they have been superb in front of the goal. Saka has been involved in 9 goals. Emily Smith Rowe is a trump card for Arteta. Whenever he comes as a substitute, he scores now. So the young guns have played a crucial role in their success, and I believe that they should create more chances because they're lacking that. They don't create much chances. They take a lot of shots on target, but they fail to create chances. And at the back, they have kept 9 clean sheets, making them the 3rd team in the league to have such numbers in clean sheet. That also proves that Aaron Ramsdale at the goal line has been phenomenal for them. So I believe that they can register a spot in the top 4 at the end of the season.
Well, definitely we'll have our eyes on Arsenal also. But now moving on to the team which seems to find no answers to the problems they are facing right now. Number 5 on our list is Manchester United. The newly appointed Ralf Rangnick lost his first match last night, and it was once again a miserable performance from the Red Devils. What is going wrong with them?
I believe that they are conceding a lot of goals. Arrival of Rangnick definitely promised that the Red Devils will play with more defensive stability now. But despite the arrival of Rangnick and despite the arrival of Varane in the team yesterday, in fact Varane was the one to commit mistake yesterday that led to the goal. So I believe that they are conceding a lot of goals. They have an average of conceding 1.5 goals per match, which is not a good start for a top 4 side. They are definitely creating a lot of chances. They have created 30 big chances so far in this season. But they also need to improve upon their pressing, and definitely with the arrival of Rangnick that's slowly coming into the system, he has inculcated a formation of 4-2-2-2. So certainly things take time to establish. And I believe that United can gain that consistency with the kind of personnel they have, and they can be in the top 4 if they stay more focused and concentrated and yield some consistent results.
But yes, definitely for that they have to start winning games. And just to add one more point to what you mentioned, they are conceding 1.2 goals, as you rightly mentioned, per game. But then how good has been David De Gea, who has made some phenomenal saves right through the season. He has single-handedly kept Manchester United into games, and it was very evident in last night's fixture also. So Manchester United has a lot of thanks to give to the Spaniard, definitely.
Absolutely.
So now moving on to the mid-table, which seems to be panning out quite well. There is West Ham, who started the season well. There is Tottenham Hotspur. There is Brighton. So how do you see this? Do you see a team like West Ham and Tottenham Hotspur finding their mojo back and making a run to finish in the top 4?
Atishay, Spurs are playing in a incredible form since the arrival of the Italian manager Antonio Conte. He has changed the tactics. He has changed the system inside the dressing room, on the field. He has brought more discipline into the system. The team is more defensively stable now. They have kept 3 clean sheets in the last 6 matches since his arrival.
And they are yet to lose a game since his arrival in the Premier League.
So you can imagine the kind of impact he has on the team. He's bringing the best out of Harry Kane. Harry Kane has scored 2 goals in the last 2 matches. So this is what Spurs fans needed. They wanted their captain to perform. They wanted their wingers like Son and Lucas Moura to perform. They wanted more defensive stability, and that's what they are getting under this manager. And he promises big things, and he also delivers. As we know that he has delivered the Premier League for Chelsea earlier, Antonio Conte. And I believe that if they stay at the right path, on the same path, they can certainly gain a European spot. They just need to be more in sync, and they need to press more. They haven't been pressing much. They are last on the table with regard to position 1 in the final third. So Antonio Conte must inspire them to press a little better.
And also their front 3 is so frightening. The trioca of Lucas Moura, Son and Harry Kane.
That's the reason behind their low pressing, because they are lethal on counter attacks, and all the managers use pacey wingers like Son and Moura on the counter attack. So yeah, maybe that's their system, but they can even press well and use these attackers to create a higher impact, higher field.
Well, definitely. And now let's talk about the 3 teams who are in the relegation zone. As you can see on the screens right now, 18th is Watford, 19th is Norwich City, and last is Newcastle United. So do you see any changes happening in the 3 relegation zone moving forward in the league? Because there is still half a season remaining, and we all know that Newcastle is looking forward to the January transfer window to sign, to bring in reinforcement.
Yeah, I believe that Newcastle has the finances to pull some good personnel in this January transfer window, and if they do so, then they have the manager as well to back their performances. So I believe that if they get out of this rut and they do play 5 to 6 good games in which they could produce good points. In last night match against Manchester United, they pulled off a point, and now they have the next 6 games against the bottom 7 sides of the table. So this is a good chance for them to get some points, back some points. and I believe that if they bag some points, then Burnley could be in a problem. Otherwise, Norwich has been terrible at attack this season, and even Watford has failed to gain momentum despite the signing of Claudio Ranieri as the new manager.
Yeah.
So I see both these sides going. Into the championship, but I believe that Newcastle can battle the relegation if they find the right personnel in the January transfer window.
Well, definitely all eyes will be on Newcastle United, definitely after that takeover. Well, there are still a lot of fixtures to be played in the English top flight and the points table can change quickly. But for now, it looks like Pep Guardiola's side are in the driver's seat to win yet another domestic glory. That's all for now, and if you like this piece of information, do hit the like button, share the video with your friends and subscribe to News 9 across all social media platforms. This is Atishay Jain signing off.